Hey HVACers, Marchillo here. Well, it's 2021 tune-up season. It's on us right now. And along with the tune-ups and the maintenance and the service agreements and the stuff that you guys do for the heating and cooling system, we're going to talk about giving a little bit of love to that humidifier and air cleaner that have been protecting those people since the last time you were at their house. Okay, so let's start with the humidifier. Now that thing has been chugging along and doing a great job for many months, but it's time to show it a little bit of love. You know, a humidifier is a pretty simple machine and it works very, very well if you give it the maintenance that it deserves. So why don't we start by looking at how to maintain and get that thing up to speed. Now, whether you've been doing this for years, you might be doing it wrong, or you've been doing it for years and you're doing it right, follow along, guys, pay attention. So what we have here is an Aprilaire large bypass humidifier. Now, you may be working on a small bypass or a large bypass or a fan-powered unit. It really makes no difference. The maintenance is really the same on all of them. So during a tune-up, here's a really good strategy. If you bump into an old Aprilaire humidifier, and there's millions of those things out there, they're kind of brown. I'll tell you what, if you're in a home, if it's brown, pull it down. If it's blue-gray, let it stay. You know, I would suggest that you offer your customer to take down that old dinosaur and put a new modern Aprilaire humidifier. You know, I do know this for a fact. There are millions of Aprilaire humidifiers out there that homeowners have that aren't working. They don't know why. They bought the house and the thing was on there. They have no idea what it is, and the contractors really never serviced it for them. That's a perfect time to replace that unit. Or, if anything, replace the control with a new modern digital control that, believe it or not, will actually turn the humidifier on if you plumb it to hot water and humidify that home on a fan call that the humidifier makes. Who'd have thunk of that 20 years ago? So let's get to the heart and the most important thing. If you're doing a quick tune-up, the most important thing is to change that water panel. Water panel right here inside the unit. Flip it over. There you go. Now, I will give you a little bit of a tip. On the top of the water panel, there's going to be a fresh fruity color. It may be pink, it may be yellow, it may be green, it may be black. There's no difference in any of those. That's indicating the top because there is an orientation, you guys. The color goes to the top, the water flow goes down the unit. So once you have that taken care of, you're at least in the right orientation. So what you guys have here, and you've seen this a million times, it comes in two parts. This is called the water distribution tray. That's a fancy word. And this is called the scale control insert. All you guys need to do is just flush them off and wipe them down. There might be some white powder on there. Just clear it off and make sure the hole on the bottom is clear. That's all you need to do to the scale control insert and the water distribution tray. Now, let's look at the solenoid. Now, the solenoid is part number 4040. It's venerable, it's famous, it's on millions of humidifiers in America, and it works all the time. Now, there's a little bit of maintenance that you may want to do on this thing. If you're going to do a full-blown maintenance tune-up, a couple things you want to do. One, you want to disconnect the water line. Make sure you turn the water off, guys. And if you look on the inside, there's a little red strainer. Now, the way to get that strainer out is to simply put in a screw or a nail and just pull that out. Now, if you pull it out, you may have damaged it, so make sure you replace it with a new one. That's simple. Now, the second thing you want to do is on the other end of the solenoid, which is the water outlet stage. All you're going to do, guys, is take off the nut right here, pull off the water feed tube, and you're going to see a little yellow orifice there. Just pop that thing out with your fingernail and put a new one in. Don't monkey around with it. If you're not going to change it, leave it in. Make the connection back to the unit, and at this point, you're done with the solenoid. So now you're done with the solenoid. You just want to make sure that the unit is up and working because fall's going to be coming in about 7 or 8 months, and you don't want to have a phone call going, my humidifier's not working. So here's what you need to do. We're going to go to the upstairs thermostat, or wherever the thermostat is in the house, and we are going to make a heat call. Once we make the heat call, we're going to go down to the Aprilaire control, the model 60 control, and we are going to turn the control knob over to test. What you're going to hear at that point is a clink or a little sound out of that solenoid. That means it opens up, and you may even see a tiny little bit of water coming out of there. That's good. Then take it out of test, go back upstairs, turn off the heat, and you're done with the control. All we've done is made sure that that solenoid is opening and closing, and we've got good continuity there. So now you've done pretty much everything on the humidifier. I mean, a couple things. I'm stating the obvious here, But make sure the drain line, whether it's PVC or it's clear plastic or whatever it is, that is full of all the funk and crud that actually goes down there. Make sure it's nice and clean and that it's got a good downward slope into whatever drain or condensate pump you have, because you never know when this thing's going to turn on next year, and when it turns on, you want to be good to go. So that's it with the Aprilaire humidifier. Next, we're going to talk about the Aprilaire air cleaner. All right, so now comes the easy part. You got to change the filter. Look, everybody knows, even the best filters on the planet, like the Aprilaire filters, with their low pressure drop and their high particulate accumulation and their great MERV ratings, even those over time are going to fill up. And when those filters fill up, you start to have airflow problems with the system. Remember, the airflow of an air handler is its lifeblood. And if you have low airflow, you might run into things like the system going off on limit or possibly the coil freezing up. So let's talk a little bit about how and why to change those filters. I don't mean to be Captain Obvious, but everybody knows what this is. It's the door to the air cleaner. Now, you may look at this and go, wow, that's kind of unique. Well, Aprilaire has a really cool program, and I don't know if you know about this, but it's something we can do for your business too, where we can custom brand your logo, your name, some contact information, maybe an email address. If you're interested in that, reach out to your Aprilaire district sales manager or your distributor and get more information on that. But what we want to talk about today is what's on the back of the door. Okay, so you took the cabinet door off and you pull that filter out and you get rid of that thing. Now, you can replace it with exactly the same filter that's in there, and of course the filter has the model number on it, shows you the airflow direction. Or what a perfect time to upgrade that filter for your customer. On the inside of every Aprilaire filter door are all the options that are available to go into that air handler. You could replace it with a MERV 11 or a MERV 13. You know, a MERV 11 filter is a solid filter. Great for keeping the equipment clean, great for keeping the blower clean, great for keeping the A coil clean, really low pressure drop, good filter. Now a 13 has all those same benefits, but it actually starts to capture things in smaller sizes. You start to deal with some dander and some pollen and a few viruses and a few bacteria. Now the MERV 13 carbon, wow, that thing is awesome. There's over a pound of activated carbon on that filter, and it really absorbs lots of odors in the home. So if odors are an issue, say with pets or for cigars or, well, you know, those odors, they're always good to have that filter as an upgrade to your customer. And then the MERV 16, now that's our top of the line filter as far as particulate accumulation. Now we're talking capture rates of 96% of 0.3 microns. I mean, we're talking viruses, really small viruses and bacteria. I mean, and the word viruses is on everybody's mind. I mean, the big C, we have all heard of that one. So we now have a filter that will actually capture 96% of virus-sized particles at 0.03, and the pressure drop is really good on our MERV 16 filter. Now, caution, we really don't want to put MERV 16 filters on drives that are over 3.5 tons because we might get a little bit of resistance issues. We want to do it the right way. If you're dealing with 3.5 ton drives, you don't want to put a MERV 16 unless, of course, you were smart enough to put 2 returns and 2 drops. Then you're golden. So those are just some of the upgrades that you have to at least share with your homeowner. Give them a chance to say yes or no, guys. Okay, filters in, doors on, good to go. Do you guys ever bump into air cleaners? No, I hate to think this is true, that aren't Aprilaire's. Yeah, I've heard it happens once in a while. How about you make them Aprilaire's? Check this out. Do you guys know that you can walk in on a tune-up or a clean-and check, and if you bump into a 16 by 25 or a 20 by 25 that aren't mine, well, it's real simple. We could just give you these to put inside that air cleaner and then put an Aprilaire filter in that. Whoa, what a good idea. You just now upgraded that horrible cake box leaky filter that was in there for how many years, who knows, and you put in a nice upgraded Aprilaire filter, which incidentally can't be bought at the big box stores, and that way you keep the revenue to yourself. It literally becomes a revenue stream. Now this is an Aprilaire upgrade kit, and it's designed to fit in many 16 by 25 or 20 by 25 air cleaners. We even have upgrade kits for 20 by 20 inch air cleaners. So here's a great opportunity for a homeowner, and guess what? The best thing is, they're free. These you don't pay for. We can get you as many of these as you want. All you need to do is buy the filters that go in them, and then guess what? That customer is now yours for a long time. That's called a revenue stream. You know, when doing air cleaner filter change-ups, inevitably you're going to run into an Aprilaire SPACE-GARD. Those have been around for 1,000,000 years and they're wonderful air cleaners, but you now have the ability to upgrade those old MERV 10 air cleaners to the new MERV 11, the MERV 13, the 13 carbon. You've got a lot of opportunity to replace this old thing with this new thing. So how do you replace the old thing with the new thing? You pull all the stuff out of the SPACE-GARD and you slide one of these in. These don't cost you anything. You slide this in the SPACE-GARD, you put the new filter in, guess what? That customer was seriously upgraded on a tune-up by you. Way to go. That's how you bring value to your customers. Okay, so we talked about, tuning up that humidifier, making sure you tune up that air cleaner. Now, if you need to know what parts or pieces or model numbers, that stuff is easy. You've got 4 or 5 different ways to find out what you need to put on your truck before you go out and start doing your maintenance calls. One, you could just go to aprilairepartners.com and surf around and you'll find all the part numbers there. 2, you could just call your favorite distributor. Those kids at the counter, they know the part numbers. They can tell you over the phone and tell you if they have them in stock. 3, you could just send an email to support@aprilaire.com and go, hey, what is the screen or the solenoid valve called? We'll send you that information. You could just call 1-800-334-6011, which is our tech support and customer service number, or you could even reach out to your local Aprilaire district salesman and he'll probably have that number on the top of his head. As smart businessmen, I don't need to tell you guys this. Have the parts and pieces on the service trucks before your guys go out there. Getting out there and not having a little widget is going to be time and money driving back and forth. So good luck with your tune-up seasons. Prepare your stuff, have the stuff on the truck, and let's have a great year.